So y'all remember how PE teachers used to make you run the mile in elementary school? Well boy do I have a fucking story for you. So I was out on the field running my second lap and my stomach started hurting because my fucking mom decided to buy McDonald's for breakfast. So I asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom and that bitch ass Trump gorilla looking motherfucker said no, so I just kept running and prayed to Michael Jackson that it would go away. So I'm on my third lap and I have to fart. And on God I pulled an Essa Barrett. So much shit came out that I could literally make a 4-course meal with it. And a chocolate fountain for dessert. I was about to fucking cry. Obviously I wasn't gonna tell my teacher that I shit myself, so I just said I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I go to the clinic literally holding my hands on my ass so nobody would see my shit. When I get to the clinic the nurse tells me to sit down, but in my head I'm like, bitch, if I sit down your chair is gonna look like the chocolate river from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I just lean on the wall until my mom comes to pick me up. When I stand up off the wall to go to the bathroom my shit is smeared on the wall and the nurse looks at it and she's like, what the fuck, was that you? And I was like, ew, hell no, and I run to the bathroom and my whole ass had shit on it, and when my mom picked me up I started crying because she asked what smelled like dog shit and she thought she stepped in something and I had to tell her it was my ass. My best friend and I are always laughing at the worst times, so one time in 6th grade we were in English class and telling our inside jokes to each other, laughing our asses off as usual. This time we looked around and saw people crying and the teacher was crying, so we tried to stop laughing, but seeing everyone cry was really funny. We found out our teacher was telling the class about her miscarriage and we had been laughing the entire time about some joke that doesn't even make sense. We felt so bad and still do to this day, but that teacher still loves us, so we're hoping she just thought we were crying really hard and not laughing over the fact that she had a miscarriage. One time I had this super annoying teacher and nobody liked her, so the whole class was always trying to make her mad or get revenge on her. One time there was a lockdown and we all thought it was a drill because it had never happened before, and we unlocked the door and everybody pushed the teacher out of the classroom. We locked the door and she couldn't get back in. She tried to get into other classrooms but they were all locked. We heard her screaming for her life and then we started hearing gunshots. We all laughed and sat down in the classroom talking. The principal came in after and asked who did it, but since we all hated her we all said that she got out on her own. To this day I don't feel bad. Once my teacher was pregnant and 2 months before her due date she went into labor in the middle of class, so we were all rushed into the hallway but they couldn't get her out of the classroom, so she ended up having her baby in the classroom, but since it was premature it was weak and they weren't at a hospital, so it died in the classroom and we all saw the dead tiny baby being carried out of the classroom, and my teacher was so sad her baby died that she quit her job, and a month later we went into lockdown because turns out she broke into the school with a knife and tried stabbing people cause she sorta went insane with the grief of her baby dying, and now she's in jail. Girl, what in the shitty tit flip switch? In 10th grade during lunch the mean popular girl started to walk up to me and my friends and grabbed my muffin and threw it in my face to impress the new kid. I went off on that dumb bitch because I wanted to eat the motherfucking muffin. I dragged that bitch across the lunchroom and we fought and I accidentally broke her nose. Haha, dumb bitch, that's what you get for wasting my fucking muffin, and I dated the new kid, so who's the bad bitch now? Brittany. Period. Sis, go off. One time I was constipated in the morning because we wake up at 5 a.m. for school, and so I took a laxative pill. My first class was theater and I had to poop really bad. The bathrooms in the locker rooms were locked and I couldn't use any other bathroom because people jewel all the time, and so I had to keep my shit in. Once everyone including the teacher left to go to the auditorium, I found a toilet in the back of our class. I couldn't keep it in any longer, so I took a fat shit and I couldn't get up because my asshole was burning, so I sat there for 10 minutes. The teacher and all the kids in my class came back and saw me poop. I forgot to shave my vagina and so they saw my pubic hair as well. Turns out that the toilet that I was pooping in was supposed to be used as a prop for our play and the whole classroom smelled like shit. I got sent to the principal's office.
My middle school was filled with fucking annoying ass fake ass bitches. This one time in 8th grade, I got up to use the bathroom while we were taking a test. At the time, I had this fake ass bitch asshole ass dumb ass big fucking ears ass flat ass friend. We had the same crush and she secretly hated me for it. After I came back into the class from the bathroom, I was chewing some gum, and my crush was sitting behind me. I got up from my seat to throw out my gum wrapper. Little did I know the bitch asshole wanted to get back at me for coming for her man. When I got up from my chair my crush started laughing and said, she shit her pants, in front of the whole class. Keep in mind it was quiet. Every head started laughing. I looked at my seat and there was a chunk of chocolate bar on my chair. I looked at the fake asshole and I instantly knew what she did. She was laughing too. I was so embarrassed. The fucking raggedy ass old ass history teacher sent me to the nurse. Bitch. But that's not where the story ends, hoes. I knew where that ugly hoe Michaela lived. Yeah, I'm exposing her ass. After school I popped out at her house and her mom let me inside. When she came home from soccer practice, her bed was filled with roaches. 'Cause that's what she is. A fucking dumbass roach.
My best friend had asked me to come over her house, so I did, and she had an older brother named Luis. He would always look at me, and I'm not gonna lie, it turned me on because he was hot. But one day my best friend was sleeping and I went to the bathroom. And I walked on him showering and he pulled me inside and we did the nasty, and weeks later I ended up pregnant. Till this day my best friend doesn't know my son is her nephew. So one time I agreed to talk to this boy because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, and I've known him for a long time, so I agreed to talk to him. But he always wanted to FaceTime every single night, but I hate FaceTiming people I don't like, so I would just make up excuses not to call him. But when I didn't, I would just go on mute or say that something came up and I'd hang up. But it got out of hand when he started to call me his girlfriend to his friends, and I was not about that, so I had to end it. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but he was so clingy and I hate clingy people. So I typed up a whole paragraph pretending to be my dad, saying that he doesn't want us to be boyfriend and girlfriend and he doesn't want us talking ever again, and that I can't date until I am 21. Then I texted him after pretending I still wanted to be with him, but my dad wouldn't let me. But to be honest, the main reason I ended it with him was because I saw a picture he posted on his Snapchat story with him and his friends. And the one friend was really fine, so in reality I stopped talking to him because I wanted his friend.
When I was younger, I was in Walmart and I was eating a tube of Pringles and I ate them while my mom paid, but I forgot to let the guy scan them, so I walked out the Walmart and the alarm went off and I just started running because I got scared, and my mom couldn't find me because I was hiding behind the newspaper things, and the Walmart people called the police because I was missing, and when I hear them show up I thought I was a criminal, so I left my mom a note on the newspaper that said I went to Mexico to start a new life and not come looking for me, and then I took off running with my Pringles and ran for like an hour, and then the cops saw me walking down the road, so they pulled over, so I started running again, and then they were using the car intercom thing and they told me to stop running. So when I did, I thought they were gonna put me in handcuffs and take me to jail, so I was crying and I slapped the officer in the stomach and tried to run again, but he just held me back, and when he asked me what happened to me and I told him, he started crying because he was laughing so hard. And he just gave my mom $2 for the Pringles and he was still laughing when he left. And that's the time I was a wanted criminal.
When I was 5, we had a lice check at school and it turned out I had lice. I was sent home and quarantined. All of my bedding and stuffed animals were thrown away and I couldn't be around anyone. Every morning and night my mother had to use tweezers to pull them and their eggs out of my eyebrows and eyelashes. After about a week of this, a stranger showed up at my house and took me into the living room alone. She showed me a girl and boy doll and started asking me really weird questions about private parts and touching. I was 100% confused. Turns out I had crabs. Since they typically live in pubic hair and I didn't have any, they decided to live in my eyelashes. My mom thought I'd been molested. In reality, the babysitter had banged her boyfriend on a couch at a different house that I then took a nap on. I want to add that I didn't know the truth until I was about 25. My niece got lice and I was surprised they weren't in her eyelashes. My mother told me what had really happened, and
when I was in 7th grade, I met this girl in my bus and her name was Lexi. Well, me and Lexi got really close. My middle school was divided into 3 different schools, so me and Lexi went to the same school but a different section of our school, and we also took the same bus. Anyways, one day when I was walking to class through one of the schools, I saw this cute-ass guy and I asked her about him cause she went to school with him, and she told me that it was one of her friends. And that if I wanted her to mention me to him, well, of course I want you to mention me to him, bitch, I think he's cute. Well, he sent me a little note telling me I was cute or whatever, and then we kept sending notes to each other. But one day as I was walking through one of the schools to get to my class, I saw him with a group of friends and they all started laughing at me. I got really embarrassed and didn't know what was happening, so I went to see Lexi to ask her why he was laughing at me.
One time me and my boyfriend were doing the nasty and I was moaning kinda loud, and after we finished, when I say we I mean him, I went to the bathroom to go potty because that's what you're supposed to do or whatever, and as I was walking to the bathroom my boyfriend's phone rang and it was his dad, and he answered and said, "Hey, what are you two doing?" And my boyfriend said, "What do you mean?" And his dad said, "Just answer the question." And my boyfriend asked, "Where are you?" And his dad replied, "In the bathroom," and then walked out into the family room where we were sitting. So long story short, we thought his dad was outside because we heard the front door open and close, and even though he didn't say it to us directly, I'm pretty sure he heard us. It was really awkward, and the only good thing about me and the boy breaking up is now I don't ever have to face his dad wondering if he knew what we did.
One time in 6th grade, I was walking to my art class and this random guy came up to me and yelled, "Hey best friend," and Lord, I was so confused, but anyway, we started talking and walked around the whole school. He pulled me into the girls' restroom and said he was going to ask me out, and I needed to say yes for my own protection. We walked out and he asked me out in OFC. I said yes. I later realized there was a really creepy guy following me and I think that's why he did it. We were dating for a year until he just went missing.
In 4th grade I went to church camp in Wyoming, and we stayed in cabins. I got my period at camp, but I had been hiding it for 3 months, so I already knew what it was, and didn't have pads or tampons. The girls in cabin were older than me, and said that anyone who gets their period before age 15 is going to HE double hockey sticks. I was embarrassed to ask for stuff, so I put a sock in my underwear. I didn't know what to do with it the next morning, so I flushed it down the toilet. The whole bathroom flooded later that day, and when we went in there to look, the bloody sock was laying in the middle of the bathroom floor. The counselors went around to each bunk trying to match the sock to someone. I hid my matching sock in my pillowcase. But
one day when I came home from school to the smell of rotting fish and clam oysters fresh out of the ocean, I saw my stepmom on the couch doing the deed with our neighbor while my dad was still at work. I took out my phone and started recording them before they noticed I was in the house. After I got proof to show my dad, I screamed at her and told her she was a disgusting hoe and that I'm telling my dad. She got up and wrapped a blanket around her fat naked body. That bitch grabbed me by my hair and said that if I tell my dad anything she will ruin my life, and I said, bitch, you already ruined my life the day you moved into my house anyways. I twisted her arm, ripped the blanket off of her and showed her the video I took of them. She tried to grab my phone but slipped on her own foot and smacked her teeth on the hardwood floor and broke 4 of her front teeth. That bitch deserved it. I sent the video to my dad, and when he got home he threw all of her shit in the front yard and put her teeth in a plastic bag for her. After that she was This took a lot of balls to say this, and this happened very recently. If you wanted to know, monkey covering eyes. One day I was sitting down by my only friend at lunch when a random guy that I have never seen before sat down in front of me. I thought nothing of it, but he just kept staring at me, so I asked him what his name was and he told me his name. We are going to call him Eli. I told him my name and he told me that he liked my name and that I looked pretty. I said thank you, then I just continued on with my day. I thought that would be the only time I would ever talk to him, but every day he would sit in front of me just staring into my eyes. One day he decided to sit beside me and I obviously thought that was weird, so I tried to get closer to my friend that I would always sit with. Then Eli got really close to me, like we were touching shoulders, but as soon as I tried to move again I felt a hand on my ass. I went to a different room to be alone and to cry. There's more cross-eyed grinning face with stuck-out tongue.
one time in 7th grade when I had a boyfriend, I told him I didn't have my first kiss yet. My best friend overheard and started making fun of me, but I don't let things slide that fucking easy, so I call her a toenail. Then she decided to respond and called me a fucking rat. My boyfriend laughed, so I kissed him right in front of her fucking face. Anyways, bitch, if you're watching this, I wanted to let you know that you're shaped like a fucking phone, ingrown nail fucking bone. Post Malone, you need some fucking C-zone. Get alone, nasty as bitch, head built like a home. Sorry, I'm out of breath. H E H E H E H E H E. You on TikTok, so here is my story mail. So this one time my older brother brought his best friend over, and I've always kinda had a crush on him. BC, this man was smoking hot. We can call him Anthony Lowell. I never really talked to him. BC, I was a shy ass bitch. But one day I found out that he was spending the night at my house. I didn't think much of it until dinner. My family always makes us eat dinner together, so we all sat down at the table, and Anthony was sitting across from me. We constantly looked at each other and smiled throughout eating, until he took off his shoe and rubbed his foot against my leg. I know it sounds weird, but I just went along with it. He stopped doing it and did it again, but this time I didn't feel his foot. He was rubbing his foot against my brother's leg. My brother got up and punched Anthony and kicked him out of the house. When I tell you my brother was mad, like that bitch was mad. I was really disappointed, but when he came back inside he yelled at me, and I started crying and ran to my room. I heard my parents talking to my brother about the whole situation, and
Okay, so I'm a boy and I'm bi and I was dating this girl, but I had the biggest crush on this boy that was the teacher's son, and I tried to make my girlfriend break up with me by showing her hot girls, but it didn't work. I was really good in the PE class, which is my crush's dad's class, and I low-key liked his dad too, but I liked him more. So I got close to the teacher and always helped him out so my crush will pay attention to me. Eventually we became friends, but I was still dating my ex-girlfriend, but I didn't care and we would low-key flirt all the time and touch each other's hands. And one day we met up in the bathroom coincidentally and we went outside to the little garden the school has and we were reading a book together, and then it led to us making out. The gym teacher saw us and kinda freaked out, but he was cool with it later on when he had a talk with his son. I broke up with my girlfriend and would hang out at my crush's now boyfriend I think house a lot and I still have feelings for his dad. Yeah, Red Heart.